Hey everybody, Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be doing a free-to-play campaign guide for beginner to mid-game players here. This is going to be focusing on the best characters and teams for each campaign. Primarily, though, we're going to be focusing on some of most of the later campaigns, right? So your Heroes Chapter 7, your Villains Chapter 7, your Nexus Chapter 8, your Doom campaigns, Doom 1, all the way through Chapter 4. That's usually what I get the most questions on, although we're not going to be talking about the specific earlier campaigns like your Cosmic, your Mystic, your Heroes 1 through 6, your Villains 1 through 6. All the characters that I'm going to be mentioning here, some of these options will also be available for some of those campaigns as well. So do pay attention to these characters and see where you can plug and play them in some of the earlier campaigns. But for this video, we're going to be focusing on the later campaigns because that's where I usually get the most questions as to what I should use, because those are a lot more specific on the characters that you have available to use there for you. So that's the reason why we're doing it that way. This list here, like I said, is free to play. So although there may be some better character options in certain sections available, I could not assume that you would be able to unlock a character like Kestrel or Deathpool. Like, those characters are all sort of based on luck. They're in orbs. So characters like that we won't not mention in this video because they're technically not free to play farmable. Like, you can't go target and get those characters, so therefore I'm leaving characters like that off of this list. Now, the breakdown on this list here will be listing out all the best character options for each individual section. So for like your Heroes, we're going to talk about what are your best city options, and then we'll talk about what are your best global options. So we'll list out all the best character options, and then I will give my recommended team for each individual section. Timestamps will be down below in the description, so if you're looking for a specific guide in regards to, okay, well, I don't need help with Heroes or Villains, hey, I want to take a look at Doom, I will put timestamps down below so that you will know, okay, which section I can click on, or maybe easier for you to be able to just come back, right, and click on that particular section. We'll make sure that we put timestamps down below. All right, so let's actually dive right into the list and let's talk about the first section here, which is going to be the Heroes Chapter 7 section. So for the first 3 nodes, you will need city characters in order to be able to do here, to be able to complete on the first 3 nodes of the section. So there are a lot of really good city characters available. The first ones that pop up in my head are the Web Warriors, right? So Web Warriors, really good team, good solid raid team. A lot of these characters are free to play accessible and free to play farmable for players. Day 1 with respect to probably Scarlet Spider, I think you have to wait until you get to, I think it's level 55 before you gain access to the War Store. But for the most part, every other character here is accessible pretty earlier on in the game. They're also a team, the Web Warriors team, a team that you can use to unlock Morgan Le Fay in the Scourge event. So it does kind of make sense to go in after sort of these characters, right? So where you can find them, Miles is in the Blitz Store. You have Spider-Man, OG Spider-Man that's in the Blitz Store. Scarlet Spider we already talked about in the War Store. Ghost Spider in the Arena Store for 975 credits, and then Spider-Punk in the Arena Store for 975 credits as well. And then we do have some other city options, some other hero city options here with 2 Young Avenger characters, Squirrel Girl and then Miss Marvel. These 2 characters are characters that you can also use to unlock Rogue in her Scourge event. And they're pretty accessible early. Squirrel Girl, you can start farming in Nexus 4.3, and then Miss Marvel, you can start getting her in Mystic 2.6. And then there's some other individual characters like Shang-Chi, who's in the Blitz Store. She-Hulk is also in the Blitz Store. Shang-Chi, very good plug and play character. She-Hulk is a part of a legendary Horseman team in the Gamma team. So it's kind of would have been killing 2 birds with 1 stone, being able to kind of target and that this character so they're early out of the gate. And now in terms of team recommendations here, I would probably go with Miles, Spidey, Squirrel Girl, Miss Marvel, and Shang-Chi. Miss Marvel has the brawler synergy with the characters like Shang-Chi and Spider and OG Spider-Man, and then Miss Marvel also has direct connection in terms of tags, because I forgot that Miles also does have the Young Avengers tag, so she'll be able to assist on their attacks or also gain assists from them as well. Really strong team that I think that's probably like one of my top recommended teams for that specific section here. So I would definitely go with this grouping. I think that's probably one of the best team comps that you could come up with based on the characters that I just mentioned that are right here. And then if we go into the next 3 nodes, this is where you will need global characters to get through that Heroes Chapter 7.4 through 7.6. So some of your best character options that you have available. Start off with the Wakandan. So you have Shuri, who is a permanent legendary character. You will need Spider-Verse characters in order to be able to unlock her, but fairly easy to be able to get those Spider-Verse characters, which, by the way, the Web Warrior, all the Web Warrior characters are Spider-Verse characters, because you can essentially use them to be able to unlock Shuri. What Shuri is also has a Wakandan tag, and the Wakandans are also characters that you can use to unlock Archangel in that Scourge event. So therefore, you're kind of being able to invest into some characters here that are going to lead you some long-term value as well. Same alongside Black Panther and Okoye being a part of that Wakandan team. These three characters are really sort of like the main cogs of both the Wakandan team, which is for Cosmic Crucible, but then of course you can use for Scourge, and then also the War Dogs team, which is a war team. These three characters are the main sort of cogs to those teams, and you can plug and play two other characters for Cosmic Crucible team and for the war team. So good team that you can use there. Secret Avengers also come in mind as well. So you have Maria Hill, who's in the War Store. You can use her for an Omega Red unlock. Same with Sharon Carter. She's in the Raid, so you can also use it for an Omega Red unlock. I think Omega Red is probably still a very good legendary character to get. So I'm definitely still, hey, anything that leads to Omega Red, I still think is a good direction to go in. And Omega Red himself is also a very good character. Also, probably the best legendary that's not a legendary horseman character there. And then some other individual characters that are also consideration. Kate Bishop. She is a Young Avenger character that you can use for a rogue unlock. You have Hulk that you can get from achievements. He's a part of a legendary horseman team in the Gamma team. You have Iron Man, who's a permanent legendary. You need shield characters to unlock him, but also a Bionic Avenger that you can then use to also unlock Archangel in that Scourge event. Elsa, Bloodstone, Dr. Voodoo, these are Dark Hunter characters that you can use for the Morgan Le Fay Scourge event to unlock. Scarlet Witch, a legendary horseman team in the Darkhold team. Vision can also be used for Archangel unlock as well, be a part of the Bionic Avenger team. And then Psylocke, who's going to be a part of that new Death Sea team that you can Death Sea team, which is going to be Archangel's team here. So legendary horseman team character. So a lot of plenty really good options there. Now in terms of team comp, I would probably go with Shuri, Black Panther, Okoye, Maria Hill, and then you can kind of pick and choose whoever that fifth character is going to be. Shuri, Black Panther, Okoye, we talked about them as being a strong sort of team that you can use, or really good, powerful three-headed monster that you can use there. Maria Hill synergizes very well with Shuri because of the deflects, and then you can kind of just plug and play whoever your fifth character is going to be. Whoever you got available to you first, onto it to go through it. Hulk, Kate Bishop, Scarlet Witch, or Sharon Carter. You can go in whichever direction. Now there's some other global characters that are actually available, like some secret, like for instance, Captain America Sam is a character that probably you could use here, right? But I chose not to go with Captain America Sam because technically Captain America Sam is available in Doom Chapter 2.6. In order for you to be able to get to Doom Chapter 2.6, you would have to complete Heroes Chapter 7, Villains Chapter 7, I believe also Nexus 8 in order to be able to even gain access to Doom. Then you have to beat Doom 1 and then be able to get to Doom 2, right? So for me personally, in my head, I'm like, okay, based on the sequence of things, Captain America Sam is not really an option. So therefore, we kind of skipped them in terms of our recommendations. Now, let's go over to the Cosmic section, right? These are the last three nodes for Heroes Chapter 7. I do not like the Cosmic section here. It's very restrictive in terms of characters that you can get, and some of the characters that you can also get too kind of double down on some of the store farms that we already talked about already. So if we look at the Cosmic nodes 7 through 9 here, what you can use for hero Cosmic characters, you have a couple Asgardians that you can use here. Now Asgardians are still a pretty good option. You can use the Asgardian characters, hero Asgardian specifically, in order to be able to unlock Red Hulk in a Scourge event. So characters like Thor are available in the Raid store for 1400 credits. He's also available in Heroes Chapter 7.3. So if you're looking at kind of just, if you're a couple shards away, once you 3-star Heroes Chapter 7.3, you can start farming Thor to be able to get some extra shards for him there. Sif is in the War Store, but this one's the tough one because you probably are already farming Scarlet Spider or maybe Maria Hill. And there's other characters that are in that War Store that may take precedence over Sif. although I do think that Sif is probably going to be one of your priorities there in that war store as well. And then there's Heimdall in the arena store. We've already mentioned some other arena store characters, but being that these 3 characters are part of the Hero Asgardian team that you can use to unlock Red Hulk, I put them down here as at least some options available to you. Then you have some Infinity Watch options. Now, Infinity Watch is not a team that I would probably recommend for beginner players, but at the same but there are a couple of characters that I would say are still good to use in the early portion of the game, like Gamora, Phyla-Vell, and then Nebula. So Gamora and Phyla-Vell are both have the cosmic tag here, and they're both hero characters that are part of the Infinity Watch team. So as well is Moondragon, but Moondragon is available in Doom 2.9, so I didn't really put her here on this list. But I mean, these are 2 characters that could be helpful for you as well. X Factor, I know this is not going to be a popular choice, but Shatterstar and Longshot are actually 2 characters that can help, that are going to be useful and kind of needed for a later Doom campaign. So I did put them here as some options that you can use as well. Shatterstar is in the arena store, Longshot is in the war store, which makes it tough again. Then you have some other individual characters like America Chavez and Captain Marvel, who are also okay characters that you could use too. As you can see, like Rogue, America Chavez and Captain Marvel can also be used for that Rogue unlock as well, right? And then for team recommendations, I don't know, like it's just this one was a tough one for me. Thor, Sif, Heimdall, Gamora, and Phyla I think would be a good team. I think that you'll be able to get through the content fine. Shatterstar, Longshot, Gamora, Phyla-Vell, Captain Marvel is another variation of a team, but you can kind of mix and match here. I would try to keep at least some synergy with some of the characters, but you can kind of go in a different direction. If I were to do it, this is probably what I would do. These 2 teams here, maybe not Captain Marvel per se, maybe you can probably be throwing Thor there just for funsies, but these nodes aren't really insanely challenging. I think you should be able to get through it fine. All right, so we're gonna skip over now to like the villain section, villains chapter 7 here. The first 3 nodes, you can use either AIM, you have to use either AIM characters, Hydra, or Sinister Six characters for the first 3 nodes. So we're gonna skip AIM here. I don't think there's any AIM characters in the game right now that are going to be good. This could change, right? We don't know. There could be a rework coming around the corner sometime. If that's the case, then we'll make a change to this list. But as of right now, when I'm recording this video, AIM is not useful. So I would definitely not use any of those characters. Now, Hydra and Sinister Six are probably where you're going to want to go. For Hydra, I like Baron Zemo, good character in the raid store. That's where you can grab him. And then you have Winter Soldier, who's not a great character, but he does have some use in the game in terms of being able to unlock Omega Red. You would need to be able to farm him and get him from Heroes Chapter 6.3. But you know, those are, I would say, if I were to do this myself, I would probably go with Zemo, Winter Soldier, and then pick a couple characters from the Sinister Six team. And there's a lot of them that are available from Sinister Six. There's Green Goblin, who just got a rework. That's a part of that Underworld team. He's in Villains Chapter 2-3. There's Electro here in the Blitz store that you can also farm for 500 credits. There's Mysterio, Heroes 2-3, Vulture, and Swarm are in the Arena store. Shocker has a node, and then Rhino is also in the Blitz store as well, alongside Electro. So if I were to put together a team comp here, I would go with Zemo, Winter Soldier, Green Goblin, Mysterio maybe, and then probably Rhino. You could probably even swap out Mysterio for maybe Electro because of the Blitz store. If you're someone that's keen to opening up a lot of Blitz orbs, you may get lucky with getting both Electro and then also getting Rhino. Rhino's a 15 shard unlock, so kind of easy to be able to get him, and then be able to kind of just walk through those nodes, right? You don't necessarily need to 3-star these nodes out of the gate. Like some of these nodes, you can just beat them and get through them and then come back later on and then 3-star those nodes later, right? So for me, this is just about being able to get through the nodes and beat those nodes, and then you can come back and 3-star important nodes a little bit later on, right? That's kind of like my idea and operation as I go throughout some of this content here. And then for your next section, that is your villain. That's your mystic section, where you're gonna need villain mystic characters in order to be able to get through nodes 4 through 6. So I thought, all right, well, we have some Dark Hunter characters here. Morbius, although he is not technically, you can't target farm him for 500 credits. He is a Blitz Orb exclusive character. You actually do get some pretty good drops in the Blitz Orbs from Blitz Orb exclusive characters here. So Morbius is not a terrible, it's not out far-fetched that you would be able to get a character like Morbius. I think that's where I'm going to make an amendment, right? For the Blitz store, I'm going to make an amendment there that, hey, if you can open up some Blitz Orbs and actually get pretty lucky with getting Morbius shards. I do think he's also a 45 shard unlock, so a 2-star unlock, so it's not bad. I think you should be able to get him. Also, you can use Morbius to be able to unlock Morgan Le Fay as well in her Scourge event. Same with Mordo. Both these Dark Hunter characters can be used to unlock Morgan Le Fay. Now, Mordo is in the arena store, so that's another tough farm, but he's only 350 credits as opposed to some of the other characters that are 500 credits. So that may be a little bit easier for you to be able to grab a character like that, like Mordo. And I do think that he actually has some pretty good synergy with some other characters I'm going to mention on this list here. There are some other individual characters that you can use, like Loki, that's also in the raid store. I actually liked it better when he was on a node. I mean, we also have Nobu, who was in Villains Chapter 6-3, where you can farm him there. So Nobu, Loki, Mordo, these are characters that you can also use to unlock Phoenix as well, if you care about that, because they're villain mystic controller characters. So therefore, you can get some additional value there with a character like that. Nobu also just got a rework and can actually provide a little bit of, like, I think he can give counters and stuff like that to other allies. So you can actually get some decent value out of Nobu here. Not great, not a fantastic character, but for one of the things I forgot to actually do was talk about gear tier recommendations. I think a gear tier 12 Nobu, gear tier 12 Loki, gear tier 12 for villains, for heroes, and then also for villains, for the villains chapters here 7. I think you can get away with just gear tier 12 investment or even gear tier 11 investment, and you should be able to get through some of these sections fine. Now, this section is probably the hardest one out of all the villains nodes, because you do have to have the specific mystic tag, villain mystic tag, and there's not really a lot of great mystic villain characters. So I did put down here, just hope you get, right? And I hate to say it, but it's kind of just one of those things where you kind of just hope you get it. You hope you get some of these characters. So like Hela, for instance, like Hela's technically farmable in Villains Chapter 7-6, and then the new hard difficulty for villains is coming soon. She's going to be available in Villains in that hard difficulty 2-3. That's really tough. You're gonna have to get to level 75 before you can even attempt those nodes. And you're getting access to the heroes and villains chapter 7 at level 70, right? So you're gonna have to wait some time for that. So kind of just hoping that you can get Hela. Hela actually makes this a cakewalk, especially now with her rework. She's actually gonna be even better to be able to get through this stuff. So you kind of just gotta hope that you get her. Doctor Strange Heartless is also in the Arena Orb as well. He's an Arena Orb exclusive character though, so you have to get lucky with shard drops. This is probably highly unlikely that you're going to be able to get Doctor Strange Heartless. You may be able to get lucky with him. He is a part of the Legendary Horseman team in Darkhold, but that's really, like I said, it's a stretch. So for the Villains Mystic section, this is going to be really tough without Hela. Morbius, Mordo, Loki, Nobu are good options, but you really kind of need Hela or even Doctor Strange Heartless to be able to kind of get through it in a better way, or just hope for RNG. Team recommendation here, I did put down Morbius, Loki, Mordo, Hela, and Nobu, but once again, I understand that Hela's with an asterisk because that may not be the case. If I even look into the game right now, if we jump over to the Villains Mystic section, let's see what some of the other options are that are available. I'm doing this on the fly right now because I do realize that, hey, maybe I'm not giving great options, right? But some of these other options are they're tough to be able to get, right? Agatha's not available for farming. I mean, you're not gonna get Dormammu. Morgan Le Fay, you're probably not gonna get Morgan at that sort of juncture in the game. Ebony Maw is a legendary that you need another legendary to unlock. So that's probably also not realistic. There is Thanos, but he's farmable in 8-9, I believe. So that's also not realistic. There's Yondu. Oh, so there's just not really a lot of great options. There is Ronin, but I don't know if that's going to be a great option for you. Maybe Juggernaut. It's really going to be kind of tough, guys, to be able to get through it without Hela. Like I said, just hope that you get Hela unlocked here and that you can actually use her for that section. I'm sorry. I wish I had better advice for that particular section there. And then you have nodes 7 through 9 that don't have any restrictions. So basically it's just your best villains characters that you can use there. Then we're going to transition over and talk about Nexus Chapter 8, right? These should provide you with a little bit of better options in at least most of the sections. For Nexus Chapter 8, the first 3 nodes, there's no restrictions. So just the best characters that you have available in order to be able to do that section. And then the next 3 nodes, 4 through 6, you have to use either Kree, Guardian, or Asgardian characters in order to be able to get through it. So there are actually some pretty good Kree characters here, just 2 of them. Captain Marvel, who's in the Blitz store, and then you have Phyla-Vell, who's in that Arena store. And then for Guardians, there is Gamora in the Blitz store, and I forgot to mention earlier in the Cosmic section, the Hero Cosmic section, I put meh because they're just really not that good. Star-Lord and Rocket Raccoon, but technically Star-Lord and Rocket Raccoon can be used for a Flash event. That Flash event is where you can get dark promo credits on those characters, or dark promo credits. So I guess like technically I should put them there, but I probably maybe I'll just take this out because I wouldn't use Star-Lord or Rocket. Like I would just wait for that later on. Wait to complete that section later on. And then for Asgardians, we already talked about a couple of Asgardian characters already: Thor, Heimdall, Sif, Loki, Hela. There's no restriction on hero or villains here, so you can actually technically use this full Asgardian team. And being that if you're getting to Nexus, I do believe that you have to complete villains. Actually, I think it says villains 1 through 3 that you have to complete in order to do Nexus Chapter 8. You technically kind of do have, you can use like a 3-headed monster with Asgardians like Thor, Loki, Hela, but maybe you don't have Hela. You can probably use Heimdall or use Sif, and then use like Phyla-Vell and Gamora, or Phyla-Vell and Captain Marvel. I did put down a full Asgardian team here just in case you do have Hela, and then also Gamora, Phyla-Vell, Thor, Loki. Once again, if you don't have Hela, you can always use a character like Sif that can take on some damage as well for you there. Of course, because like characters like Valkyrie and Mighty Thor are not farmable, they can be added to this section here as well. Or they can be added to this section. Then moving on to your next nodes here, the villains, your Nexus Chapter 7 through 9, the characters that you have available to use here, or what you have restrictions on, are Shield characters, Brotherhood characters, and then X-Men characters. So for Shield, we're gonna go back again to Maria Hill. We're gonna add this time around though Nick Fury. So Nick Fury is a permanent legendary character. He do need Kree minions in order to be able to unlock him, but Nick Fury can be also used to unlock Omega Red. I like Omega Red. I think he's a good character to be able to unlock, very useful. So therefore I'm gonna recommend him as a part of recommend Nick Fury as a part of this list here. I'm gonna take out this bullet point. And then for Brotherhood, really it's just Magneto, right? I put Sabretooth there as like, okay, if you can't get certain characters and Sabretooth is in the raid store, might be able to get him fairly easy. That's the reason why Sabretooth is here. But ideally, the only good Brotherhood character that I would recommend getting is gonna be Magneto. Magneto is a permanent legendary character. You do need X-Men characters or Brotherhood characters in order to be able to unlock him, but there's a lot of X-Men characters that you can use in the game to unlock Magneto, and he's not a hard unlock, so it's actually very attainable that you would actually be able to get Magneto for sure. And Magneto is also a part of a Legendary Horseman team in the Dead Sea team, so good to be able to kind of invest into him as quick as you possibly can, because you will be able to use him to unlock Apocalypse later on, right? And then for X-Men characters, the only ones I would recommend going after, honestly, at this juncture, for you would be Psylocke, who we already talked about already, who's a part of a Legendary Horseman team in the Dead Sea team, so same team that Magneto is on. You have Beast. So although I'm not going to recommend any other Astonishing X-Men character on this list, I do like Beast a lot because Beast still has synergy with other Uncanny X-Men, like Psylocke. So Psylocke is also still has an Uncanny X-Men tag, so therefore he'll be able to give some additional buffs to her, and I think would be really helpful. Beast also has other synergies with certain characters that are brawlers or protectors. You can give them some sort of buffs, controllers that will be helpful. So I think Beast provides a lot of solid utility for your team if you want to use him here. And then Wolverine is just another character that I kind of threw on here. You're getting through your daily objectives. I just threw them on here because I'm like, all right, if you don't have some of these other characters, you can kind of just plug in Wolverine in as a part of your team if you're kind of low, right? And then also Wolverine and Sabretooth also do kind of have a little bit of synergy being a part of the Weapon X team that Omega Red leagues. Then for team recommendations, I just put down like Maria Hill, Fury, Magneto, Psylocke, and Beast. I think this would be fine to be able to get through the last portion here of on the Nexus 8 campaign there. Once again, I think for these particular sections, it's like level 71 or level 70, gear tier 12 or gear tier 11. I think it's okay to be able to get through these sections. I don't think you're going to really worry about too much difficulty as we talk about the Nexus campaign here. All right, so now we're going to transition over to our Doom campaigns and talk about all of the chapters of the Doom campaign here. So for Doom Chapter 1, for your first 3 nodes in Doom Chapter 1, you need either hero mutant characters or hero inhuman characters, right? Those are for your first 3 nodes. So you're going to start to see some of the characters that we talked about earlier pop back up again that you can use, which is the reason why I talked about for your hero mutant, Shatterstar and Longshot, because for your Doom campaign for the first 3 nodes, Shatterstar and Longshot are kind of like some of your best characters that you can use for this particular section. So Shatterstar, Longshot here, Beast again, because Beast, of course, I think is a nice little utility mutant character that you can use that can benefit and help out some of the characters here. I think, so if I'm not mistaken, Longshot is a blaster. I think Beast will be able to give offense up to other blaster characters like Longshot. So there's actually going to be some help that and some boost that Beast can actually give to your team here. So that's the reason why I recommended him here. Or list him down here as a character to use. Psylocke, we've already talked about her already. And then for Hero Inhuman, here we go back again to Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel has the Inhuman tag. I recommended using her for your city section. So here again, of course, for your Rogue Legendary unlock, right? So here again, we're coming back to Miss Marvel, being able to get multi-usage out of a character like Miss Marvel. So that's the reason why she is here. So recommended team, because I only had 5 characters listed here, this is the recommended team that I would use. And then for your next 3 nodes, you need either Hero Mystic or Guardian characters. So we're going to start to see, once again, some overlapping of some of these characters here. So for Hero Mystic, let's slow down, right? There's Thor, there is Black Panther, there's Scarlet Witch, who we mentioned a little bit earlier on in the global section, America Chavez, Elsa Bloodstone, Ghost Rider. So these 2 characters are Dark Hunter characters. Dr. Voodoo is a Dark Hunter character. I hope I had mentioned him earlier. If not, I apologize. But he's also part of the Dark Hunter team. Heimdall here, and then M'Baku. M'Baku is a Wakandan character. He's in the arena store for 500 credits. So we listed him down here. We'll talk about team recommendations in a second. For Guardians, here is Gamora again. And then for team recommendations, I said, let's go with a couple Dark Hunters here. Ghost Rider, Elsa, there's Heimdall and Thor that you can get some synergy with. Scarlet Witch. Like, I actually really don't, then I think about it, like, I probably overcomplicated this a little bit, because you do have Elsa, a Ghost Rider, Dr. Voodoo that could be used together as a part of like a Dark Hunters team. And you can throw in Scarlet Witch, who technically has this supernatural tag that also Ghost Rider and Elsa have. So there's actually a little bit of synergy there that you actually will be able to use. And all these characters are good characters that you can use in sort of endgame content. So yeah, I probably overthought this a little bit. Thor and Heimdall can be used together. I really don't think that you're going to worry too much about this section. It was actually, from what I can remember, it wasn't really that challenging to get through. Actually, the Hero Mutant and Hero Inhuman section are probably the more challenging ones. And then the next section here, which is nodes 7 through 9, actually a little bit more challenging than this middle section. So really, you can kind of just group together a little bit of synergy and then be able to kind of get through it, right? And then for which let's transition over to the next couple of nodes. For your next couple of nodes here, nodes 7 through 9, you have Shield characters, Wave 1 Avenger characters, or Fantastic Four characters that you can use. So for Shield, we're going back to Maria Hill and Nick Fury again. And then for Wave 1 Avengers, there's Thor, there's Hulk, and then there's Iron Man. So these characters that we talked about a little bit already. And then for Fantastic Four, like Invisible Woman is a consideration. She is a legendary character. I don't remember if she's permanent, so I don't see the legendary characters anymore. After you get them to 7 stars, you don't see them at all in the game anymore. So I don't remember if Invisible Woman is a permanent legendary character. I do know that you do need Sinister Six characters in order to be able to unlock her, and she's also usable for a Flash event. That's the reason why I listed her here, but I wouldn't like go out of my way to try to get Invisible Woman. For team recommendations, this is like really simple. I think at this point it's like Maria Hill, Fury, Thor, Hulk, Iron Man. Like these 3 characters here got reworks. They're amazing now. Fury can help to give some buffs here. Maria Hill can help to keep him alive. I think you'll be pretty good with going with this comp here. This one is not as challenging as I remembered. Actually, back in the day, you had to use like Hawkeye and Yo-Yo and Black Widow. Like now it's like so much easier with like Maria Hill and Nick Fury, and these 3 characters here getting reworks. They're actually not as complicated as I thought it was going to be. So I digress from that perspective. All right, so Doom Campaign Chapter 2. So here we are back again. I don't know why they just fell in love with AIM, but there's AIM, there's Mercenary, and then you have Wakandans for the first 3 nodes. So the first 3 nodes here for Doom Chapter 2. 2 mercenary characters that I would probably consider here would be Killmonger, who is a Wakandan character. So you can use him to unlock Archangel in that Death Scourge event. Killmonger is in that raid store. First time we're mentioning him here, so that's the reason why we have that there. Taskmaster is a mercenary character as well. He just got a rework to be a part of that Underworld team. So I guess it's not terrible to go after him. He's more of a filler character just in case you can't get some other characters here. He's in Cosmic 2-6. And then you have like the full Wakandan team, right? Shuri, Okoye, Black Panther, Killmonger, and M'Baku that you can use in this particular section. And yes, we are once again skipping AIM. Screw you, AIM. We're not using you, right? So I would definitely go with the Wakandans in terms of team recommendations here. As far as I'm concerned, that's probably like your best bet, bro. Or sis. Yeah, I would just go with a full Wakandan team there. I mean, yeah. Or if you just don't want to use M'Baku because whatever, or Black Panther because then maybe you can go with Taskmaster at that point. But I think just going with the full Wakandan team is probably just your best bet. And then for the next couple of nodes, you can use either Hand, Marauders, also kind of ew, but not as bad. And then Spider-Verse characters. So this is actually really easy. For Hand, it's Nobu. There's no other Hand character that I would talk about or even consider. And then for Spider-Verse, it's Web Warriors, Green Goblin, who we talked about already, and then Kingpin. Kingpin is in, I think he's in Nexus Chapter 7-9. Oh, let's just double check and make sure I'm not talking out of my butt. I think it's Nexus 7-9. Yes, Nexus 7-9 is where Kingpin is. He does have the Spider-Verse tag, so technically you can use him. I would probably just lean into Web Warriors here, or if you don't want to farm, if you haven't had like Spider-Punk for whatever reason, you can plug in Green Goblin, or you can plug in Kingpin if you've gotten lucky with some shards for him. That would be my team recommendations here, like Web Warriors, and if you can't get Spider-Punk or one of those characters, then you probably plug and play Green Goblin, Kingpin, or Nobu, whichever one it is that you were able to get a little bit easier. And then we jump into probably the most challenging section that I had in terms of like recommendations for characters. This is the most challenging one that I had, and I'm not even sure if I have the right answers for this as of yet. This is going through to the 7 through 9 nodes in Doom Chapter 2. Like I don't know if I'm giving you great recommendations here. There's you can use either Black Order, Hydra, or Power Armor, right? And like Black Order is Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, and Cull Obsidian. And the Black Order team is just not a good team anymore in terms of in terms of investment. Like there's not really anything that you need them for, other than I guess like this section of the campaigns, right? Ebony Maw is kind of hard to get to because you have to get Black Bolt, where you need a full Asgardian team, where Hela is tied behind Villain Chapter 7-6. She really should be in an earlier node. Like she's been around for quite some time. And then of course, like Black Order also doesn't include Thanos, because Thanos is not a Black Order character, just have the Black Order tag. So therefore, but I digress. And one of the let me backtrack here. So if we jump over to the Doom campaign, Doom Chapter 2 here, and we get to, I think in this last node right here, which is a node for Moondragon, I think in this section, if you bring in all your Black Order characters, then they give you a Thanos, and I think that Thanos actually gets empowered. So it actually may not be a bad idea to bring in a full Black Order team, but it would just literally, you're just investing into Black Order just to be able to get through 2-9. Like that's it. That's really kind of what it is, just to be able to get through 2-9. There's 2 Hydra characters that we talked about already, Zemo, Winter Soldier. For power armor, Iron Man does have the power armor tag. I put Falcon here because Falcon can help a little bit. He's a Nexus 7-3, so there is like there's other options available. But for my team recommendations, I mentioned here, you may have to use all Black Order, excluding Thanos. And in Ebony Maw, like I said, I didn't even finish that thought. For Ebony Maw, you have to get Black Bolt and then also get in the rest of the Inhumans team. You know, but of course you would have Miss Marvel, so then you just need to get 3 other Inhuman characters in order to be able to unlock, Ebony Maw. You could also alternatively try to use Zemo, Winter Soldier, Iron Man, Falcon, and Maw, and then hope for RNG. Once again, I put down here, you don't need to, this is not the word for, you don't need to 3-star, you just need to beat it. So maybe just trying to get through it with RNG, beat it, and then come back and try to 3-star later if you care about farming Moondragon is probably the best strategy here. But this was a stretch section, guys. I apologize. I really struggled with making recommendations here because it just kind of looked like you had to go get Black Order, and that I know it's not like the greatest feeling in the world to have to do that. All right, and let's jump over to Doom Chapter 3, where in nodes 1 and 3, there's no restrictions there. For nodes 4 through 6, though, you can use either Avengers or Fantastic Four, which actually broadens the list quite a bit, because if you look at the Avengers list, it's like Thor, and then now we talk about Captain America Sam, right? Because you would have now been able to go through Doom Chapter 2-6, because we just went through the Doom 2 chapter. Just went through Doom Chapter 2, so you can actually farm Captain America Sam now. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to farm and unlock Captain America Sam and then use him in this campaign section, or maybe you were getting lucky with some shards, and then now you're able to farm him and actually unlock him, right? Maybe that's the thing that happened. As we talked about already, the Secret Adventure team can be used to unlock Omega Red. So yeah, Captain America Sam is here, Hulk is here again, Miles. The entire Young Avengers team is a part of this Avengers list that you can use. Secret Avengers, Iron Man, Bionic Avengers, Black Panther has the Avengers tag, Vision again, Echo. Like, there's a lot of really good characters. So for my team recommendations here, I said a lot because you have a lot. Like, you could go with a full Young Avengers team, you could go with a partial Bionic Avengers team. Like, there's a lot of character options that you can go with here, so I just put down a lot that you can go through. And then the next three nodes here, you can use either Hero Tech or use Hero Supernatural, which is so Hero Tech is good options here too. There's Shuri, there's Iron Man, there's Kate Bishop, there's Vision again. For Hero Supernatural, Scarlet Witch still has the Supernatural tag. You have Ghost Rider, there's Elsa. Like, team recommendations, this is not a tough one. Shuri, Iron Man, Vision, Ghost Rider, Elsa will be able to help you to walk through it. If you don't want to use Elsa, there's Kate Bishop. There's a lot of really good options that you can use here that you can kind of swap in at. Maybe to a certain extent, you may want to go with Kate Bishop instead of using Ghost Rider or Elsa, or maybe use Kate Bishop and Scarlet Witch. I would still just use Shuri, Iron Man, and Vision, though. I would still probably go in that direction. And then let's go over to Doom Chapter Campaign Chapter 4 here. For your first 3 nodes, you have to use Spider-Verse characters, New Warriors, or Heroes for Hire. Spider-Verse is really simple, Web Warriors or Green Goblin, but really it's like Web Warriors. Heroes for Hire, Shang-Chi again. is popping up. If I were to recommend a team, I would use Web Warriors and swap out Punk and use Shang-Chi. You'll actually need a little bit of some solid strength there. I think probably geared to your 14 characters are probably what you're going to need here in Doom Chapter 4 from what I can remember about the nodes. So you'll definitely want at least get a little bit of power there. And Spider-Man Punk does not really do much outside of raids for this team. So Shang-Chi will be a nice little slot in there. For your hero mutant section, which is the next 3 nodes here, there's Shatterstar again, there's Longshot, there's Beast, there's Psylocke, there's Wolverine. You know, those are the good characters. You would hope that at this point in time, that when you need to do this, depending on when you're playing the game, that at least some of the unlimited X-Men characters are going to become farmable, right? And then you can just use those characters instead of having to use Shatterstar and Longshot, or even maybe Beast or Wolverine, right? Like you would hope that at that point in time that would be the case. And then for your last 3 nodes here, Mystic, you have to use Mystic characters, non-minion characters. So there's Thor, Scarlet Witch, Elsa, Ghost Rider, Mordo, Dr. Voodoo, Hela, Doctor Strange, Heartless. Like I said, Hope. You should have been able to farm Hela at this point if you're getting to the Doom Chapter campaign. So that's the reason why she's listed here without the Hope or asterisk at this point. And then team recommendations, like I said, Dark Hunters, swap in Scarlet Witch. And I think you should be able to you should be fine to be able to kind of get through this stuff. So that's it, guys. That's it in terms of this list here. I'm hoping I didn't forget anything. I hope this was easy enough to follow through. I know I kind of bullet pointed a lot of things here. I'm hoping that you took breaks throughout this video and that you didn't just walk through the entire thing. That's the reason why I put the timestamps in the video, so that you would, if you're worried about missing something, that you'll be able to then come back to it later on and go through it and decipher it. So hopefully that was helpful for you to be able to kind of decipher through the content here. Maybe I'll also make this document available to you guys. Let me know if that's something that you want me to do. Like, do you want me to make this document available to you so that you can take a look at it? And then I'll probably just make sure that I maintain and update this. It's easy for people to follow along. Also make some suggestions too if there's other things that you want me to add to this that I can, because since I have this as a running document now, maybe if you want me to add some other things to it as well to make it, maybe some other visuals or something that you want me to, something else that you want me to write down, let me know that as well. But listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. Until next time, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. And then until next time, guys, you guys be blessed. You guys be safe.